Agent Jax stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his tie with a focused expression on his face as a highly skilled Secret Service agent. He had faced numerous challenges in his career, but this mission felt entirely different. He was known for his clever disguises and quick thinking, traits that had served him well in the field. Today, he was preparing for an assignment that required him to step into the shoes of someone completely unexpected. A clown. The sun streamed through the window, casting a warm glow over his small apartment filled with various outfits and gadgets. Each disguise he owned told a story, a blend of humor and stealth. One bright red nose and a wild wig later, Agent Jax took on the persona of Bubbles, the charming clown who would infiltrate the circus to gather information on a mafia gang operating in the shadows. Agent Jax had always had a fascination with clowns. Their ability to bring joy and laughter fascinated him. Yet beneath the colorful makeup and big shoes lay an opportunity. This time, laughter would serve as a cover for serious business. His mission was clear: gather intelligence about the gang suspected of running illegal activities behind the dazzling lights of the circus. After receiving details from his superiors, Jax felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The mafia had been linked to several criminal activities in the area: extortion, gambling rings, and even drug trafficking, but they eluded capture by keeping their operations cleverly hidden. Within the circus environment, no one would ever suspect that such nefarious deeds could occur among jugglers, acrobats, and cotton candy vendors. Clowns were typically seen as harmless entertainers, bubbly figures who elicited giggles from children and smiles from adults alike, making them ideal for infiltration. With each twist of face, paint on his cheeks, and every splash of sparkle added to his costume, Agent Jax transformed into Bubbles, a lively figure ready to dance into danger while carrying out his secret mission. As he completed his transformation, Jax couldn't help but think back to some of his early days as an agent. He remembered how he first learned about disguises during training sessions that often involved role-playing games aimed at teaching agents how to blend into diverse environments. Though at times uncomfortable playing roles like clown or party magician, those experiences shaped him into who he was today, fearless when it came to unconventional tactics. Once dressed, Agent Jax felt invigorated by the challenge ahead. Instilling laughter might just lead him directly to key information regarding the mafia operation. After all, who wouldn't share secrets with a clown dancing around as if every moment were amusing? Bubbles would have thick skin. If he appeared friendly yet observant enough, people might open up without realizing they were revealing vital details. Arriving at the circus later that day filled him with anticipation. The air buzzed with excitement. Bright, colorful tents dotted across an expansive field beckoned visitors from near and far. Sounds of joyful laughter floated through the air alongside upbeat music played by talented musicians warming up before their acts began. Taking a deep breath, Agent Jax stepped into this lively world surrounded by performers preparing for nightfall's entertainment. He watched jugglers toss flaming torches high above, while acrobats stretched their limbs against vibrant tents before flipping gracefully through rings suspended mid-air. With every step closer toward his goal came challenges as well. Maintaining focus amidst such joyful chaos would be demanding for even seasoned experts like himself. But today, Jax would blend activity with keen observation, completely disappearing into character whenever necessary. As night fell upon the circus grounds and stars twinkled overhead like diamonds scattered across velvet blackness, much excitement developed around him. A feeling both electrifying yet overwhelming. Little did he know that beneath this facade lay secrets so darkly cloaked within shadows lurking just beyond sight's edge. With so much at stake resting heavily upon what occurred next, Jax's mission as Bubbles wasn't merely about bringing smiles but ultimately defeating those causing harm hidden under these colorful tents. Would a simple clown prove adequate enough when facing off against dangerous criminals? Only time would tell. As Agent Jax stepped through the grand entrance of the circus, he was immediately enveloped in a whirlwind of color and sound. The air was thick with excitement, mingling with the sweet scent of cotton candy and roasted peanuts. Brightly painted tents stood tall against the twilight sky, each one promising a unique spectacle within. Strings of twinkling lights adorned every corner, casting a magical glow that illuminated joyful faces and festive decorations. This was no ordinary place. This was an enchanting world where dreams danced alongside reality. Children laughed and pointed as jugglers tossed flaming torches high above their heads, their movements fluid and mesmerizing. Acrobats stretched on their mats, preparing for gravity-defying feats that would leave the audience gasping in awe. Clowns, like Jax in his disguise as Bubbles, filled the space with giggles and playful antics, drawing delighted cheers from families gathered around. Yet beneath this playful exterior lay something sinister. Word had spread through various channels that a notorious mafia gang had taken up residence within this very circus. Whispers echoed among locals about how the gang used the vibrant atmosphere to camouflage their illegal operations, extortion rings hidden behind smiles and laughter, drug deals masked by acts of comedy, and magic for Jax. This dazzling facade felt like walking into a trap set to ensnare anyone who dared to look too closely. As he blended into the crowds, Jax's keen eyes scanned every corner of the colorful tents for any signs of trouble. He noticed a group of rough-looking men huddled together near one of the larger tents, their laughter loud and boisterous but lacking genuine mirth. They seemed out of place amidst the joy surrounding them, a shadow lurking in paradise. Their attire set them apart from the circus performers. Instead of flamboyant colors and whimsical patterns, they donned dark clothing that hinted at danger. The circus itself bustled with life as performers prepared for the evening's show. Musicians tuned their instruments while acrobats practiced flips and turns under glowing lights. A ringmaster with a booming voice announced upcoming acts to eager patrons seated on benches encircling the main stage. The energy pulsated through every performance, the thrill of anticipation wrapped around Jax like a warm blanket. However, Jax knew that not everything glittered under these bright lights. Danger lurked just beneath the surface. His heart raced as he recalled snippets of information from his briefing. The mafia's connections to various illicit activities left him uneasy yet determined to uncover their secrets. His thoughts were interrupted when he spotted a performer he recognized, a contortionist named Mira who had garnered attention for her astonishing flexibility and captivating beauty. She moved gracefully among guests, exchanging smiles as she twisted her body into impossible shapes before slipping away to prepare for her act. He remembered hearing rumors that she might have knowledge about the mafia's dealings, since she often interacted with many different people at the circus. With this thought sparking his curiosity, Jax decided it would be wise to approach her later. Perhaps Mira could provide insights that could aid him in dismantling this criminal operation hiding within such joyous surroundings. As dusk turned into nightfall and stars began to twinkle overhead like diamonds scattered across black velvet fabric, Agent Jax felt exhilaration mixed with anxiety build within him. There was so much at stake. He understood that while laughter echoed around him now, danger hid just beyond sight's edge, a reminder that even amidst joy there could exist darkness ready to strike when least expected. With determination solidifying his resolve, Bubbles prepared himself for what lay ahead. He would need to navigate this vibrant world carefully, to laugh when necessary but remain observant above all else. This circus would serve not only as his stage but also as ground zero in uncovering secrets buried deep within its enchanting glow. Jax took one last deep breath before plunging back into action, ready to blend into chaos while pursuing shadows lurking beneath brightly painted surfaces. The time had come for him to unveil what truly transpired behind those cheerful smiles. In a dimly lit conference room at the Secret Service headquarters, Agent Jax sat at the edge of his seat, listening intently as his supervisor laid out the details of his new assignment. The walls were adorned with photos of previous arrests and operations, each a reminder of the dangers that lurked in their line of work. Charts and maps detailing the circus grounds were spread across the table, marking potential hotspots where the mafia was rumored to conduct their illicit business. Agent Jax, his supervisor said, pointing at a particular area on the map. Intelligence suggests that this circus has become a front for the mafia's drug trafficking and extortion activities. They've cleverly woven their operations into the entertainment, making it difficult for anyone to suspect what's happening behind the scenes. Jax absorbed every word, a knot forming in his stomach as he pictured the children laughing and families enjoying themselves, completely unaware of the criminal underbelly right beneath their noses. "So, how do we make our move?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. "We need someone who can blend in seamlessly," the supervisor replied, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "And that's where you come in. You'll be going undercover as one of the clowns." The room filled with laughter from other agents. "Clowns?" Jax could only imagine the expressions on the faces of his colleagues as they thought of him jumping around in oversized shoes and a bright wig, but he knew better than to dismiss this opportunity. This was a chance to unmask the mafia's plans without raising any suspicions. With newfound determination, Jax nodded. "I can do it, I'll be effective." He mentally prepared himself for the transformation that awaited, not just in appearance but in mindset as well. When he left the meeting, Jax felt a sense of urgency coursing through him. The stakes were higher than ever. Innocent lives could be at risk if he didn't act quickly and decisively. The idea of hiding in plain sight as Bubbles excited him and filled him with determination. Clowning around would serve as an unusual yet clever approach to infiltrate this web of crime. As he started planning his approach, he reflected on what it meant to become Bubbles. He recalled watching documentaries on circuses and how clowns often used humor as their weapon, a tool to connect with audiences and disarm them. Jax needed to harness that same energy while maintaining his alertness. He couldn't let his guard down, even among laughter and cheers. Arriving at the costume shop later that day, Jax was greeted by vibrant fabrics and oversized accessories that could cheer up even the gloomiest of days. Picking out a bright red nose, an oversized colorful wig, and polka-dotted pants took away any semblance of normalcy from his life. He was now stepping into an entirely new persona. Once dressed, Jax stared at himself in the mirror, taking note of the wild grin painted across his face. Bubbles was ready to make his entrance into the circus world. He rehearsed juggling balls and practicing silly dances, knowing that he would need every ounce of charm to earn trust while gathering intelligence on opening night. When the crowd surged into the circus, Jax felt an exhilarating mix of excitement and nervousness. Families filled every seat, children darting eagerly toward cotton candy stands amidst bursts of laughter and applause. Jax joined in as Bubbles, performing silly tricks and engaging with guests to maintain his cover as he juggled brightly colored balls and made balloon animals for children. He kept an eye on any suspicious activity among performers and guests. Alike, he noticed a group of serious-looking men lurking near the concession stand. Unusual behavior for people supposed to be enjoying a show. Their whispered conversations seemed tense, sending alarm bells ringing in Jax's mind. Throughout the first performance, Jax switched effortlessly between clowning around and observing carefully. He interacted with other performers, acrobats and musicians, striving to glean any information about the mafia's operations while ensuring he played his role perfectly. With each laugh shared and hidden glance exchanged, Jax felt closer to uncovering the truth about the mafia's involvement within the circus. Behind every smile lay secrets waiting to be revealed, and he was determined to expose them all. Bubbles wasn't just a clown. He was a key player in a dangerous game unfolding amidst laughter, and Joy's night fell deeper and lights twinkled above like stars in the sky. Agent Jax prepared himself mentally for what awaited him in this vibrant world, filled with illusion. A world where appearances could be deceiving, but truth would eventually come to light. With the assignment clear and the stakes high, Agent Jax dove into his preparation for the mission. The transition from a seasoned Secret Service agent to a cheerful clown named Bubbles would require more than just donning a silly costume. It called for honing new skills that would help him blend seamlessly into the circus environment. First on the agenda was mastering clown skills. Jax enlisted the help of a local clown coach named Chuckles, who had years of experience entertaining at various events. Chuckles, with his colorful bow tie and oversized shoes, welcomed Jax into his bustling workshop filled with juggling balls, props, and mirrors. "Clowning is all about connection," Chuckles exclaimed with enthusiasm. "You have to make people laugh and feel joy, but you also need to build trust if you're going to gather information." Jax nodded, absorbing every word. He spent hours learning how to juggle brightly colored balls and spin plates on sticks. Although it felt silly at first, he quickly discovered the rhythm of performance. A delicate dance between precision and humor. He reveled in the laughter he could evoke even from himself during practice. It was contagious and uplifting. But juggling was only part of Bubbles' persona. Makeup application was crucial for transforming Jax's features into those of an entertaining clown. Chuckles guided him through the process, teaching him how to create exaggerated expressions using bright colors and bold designs. With each stroke of face paint, Jax felt himself slipping into character. The vibrant red nose became a symbol of joy while the wide smile painted across his cheeks represented laughter. "If you're going to be Bubbles," Chuckles said as he applied a swirl of blue around Jax's eyes, "you need to remember that every face tells a story. People should see you and instantly feel a connection." As they worked together, Jax practiced various expressions in front of a mirror. Wide eyes filled with innocence or exaggerated frowns that could flip to smiles in an instant. Chuckles reminded him repeatedly that facial expressions were key in clowning. They would convey emotions without uttering a single word. Next came learning circus routines, an essential part of Bubbles' act. With help from other performers practicing at the local circus school, Jax observed acrobats flip through the air and trapeze artists soar overhead. He watched closely as they executed intricate movements and flows within their acts, realizing that timing was everything. Incorporating these elements into his performance required creativity and adaptability. After several days of practice with the acrobats, Jax learned to integrate simple acrobatic moves, like cartwheels or playful tumbles, into his act as Bubbles. He aimed to keep audiences engaged while remaining alert for any suspicious activity among performers or guests. As part of his training, Jax also spent time interacting with young children at nearby community events where he performed as Bubbles before crowds eager for entertainment. Their laughter filled him with joy and boosted his confidence. He learned how genuine connections could create an atmosphere where people felt comfortable sharing secrets without realizing why the time opening night approached. Agent Jax felt well prepared for his undercover role as Bubbles. His costume was ready, a dazzling ensemble complete with bright colors and oversized shoes designed for comfort during movement. He looked in the mirror one last time, admiring how vibrant he appeared. "Remember," he told himself quietly, "you're not just there to entertain, you're there to protect." The seriousness of his mission weighed on him as he donned the final touches, the bright red nose that would become his shield against suspicion. The night before opening day arrived, filled with excitement yet tinged with nerves as streetlights lit up outside like stars twinkling in overhead skies. Jax practiced his routine yet again, juggling balls while performing exaggerated gestures that brought laughter from imaginary crowds. When dawn broke over the horizon on opening day, Bubbles was ready to leap into action. He could feel adrenaline surging through him as he pulled on his polka-dotted pants one last time. His heart raced at what lay ahead, the thrill of performing under lights shining brightly while simultaneously watching for any signs of danger lurking in shadows behind cheerful smiles. With everything set in place, the makeup perfected, skills polished, and routines memorized, Agent Jax embraced his new identity as Bubbles wholeheartedly. He understood now that humor could be both disarming and revealing, a crucial combination as he prepared to navigate this vibrant world filled with laughter while pursuing secrets hidden beneath its colorful facade. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the circus grounds, Agent Jax, now fully transformed into Bubbles, stepped through the vibrant entrance. The sounds of laughter and excitement enveloped him like a comforting blanket, but beneath this facade of joy, he knew danger lurked. With his heart racing, he adjusted his oversized shoes and took a deep breath, ready to dive into this colorful world. Brightly painted tents surrounded him, each one promising thrilling acts and delightful surprises. The air was filled with the sweet scent of popcorn and cotton candy, mingling with the distant music played by cheerful musicians warming up for the night's show. Jax smiled at children darting about in their sparkling costumes, completely unaware of the undercurrents of crime that intertwined with their merriment. His first task was to navigate through the bustling crowds while remaining inconspicuous. As he moved from one tent to another, he glanced around with exaggerated expressions. His joyful demeanor helped him blend in perfectly. He waved at families and danced playfully between performers, all while keeping an eye out for anything unusual. It wasn't long before Jax noticed a small group of men huddled together near a large striped tent adorned with bright lights. Their laughter was loud but lacked warmth. There was an edge to it that sent warning signals flashing in Jax's mind. He pretended to juggle some colorful balls nearby, using this as an opportunity to eavesdrop on their conversation. "Did you see how much we made last night?" one man boasted, his voice low but filled with pride. "This place is a gold mine. No one suspects a thing." Jax's heart raced as he heard snippets of their dialogue. They were discussing profits connected to illegal activities right under the unsuspecting crowd's nose. He needed more information but also had to be careful not to draw attention to himself. After giving them a momentary glance filled with clownish wonderment, Jax moved along, making sure he appeared immersed in his act while discreetly keeping tabs on their behavior. As he continued exploring the area, he interacted with other performers, juggler here, an acrobat there, always careful to keep his ears open for any details that could lead him closer to unraveling the mafia's operations. Walking towards a food stand draped in glowing lights, Jax noticed Mira, the contortionist he had seen before, prepping for her act. She caught his eye and smiled warmly, her grace evident even in her relaxed pose. "Hey there!" she called out cheerfully as she twisted her body elegantly like a flowing ribbon. "Ready for tonight?" "Absolutely," Bubbles replied playfully while juggling some brightly colored balls. "Just trying to bring some joy before the show begins." Mira laughed and joined him briefly in playful antics before returning to her preparations, and in that short moment of connection, Jax felt encouraged. She seemed genuine and approachable. Perhaps she could be an ally or provide valuable insights later on. As evening settled in and stars began twinkling above like tiny diamonds scattered across black velvet, Jax overheard more conversations among performers backstage discussing schedules and routines. Every minor detail potentially leading him closer to understanding how deeply the mafia had infiltrated this circus. Suddenly, his attention shifted when he witnessed another group of rough-looking men entering a restricted area behind one of the main tents, the kind who stood out sharply against the colorful backdrop of performers dressed in vibrant costumes. This was where they undoubtedly conducted their illicit dealings. Jax's instincts kicked in. He casually strolled toward the back entrance where they had vanished but stayed vigilant not to raise suspicion. Balancing mirthful gestures while maintaining focus required skill as he moved effortlessly between children asking for balloon animals and adults snapping photos. Inch by inch, Bubbles navigated closer towards shadows hiding secrets within dimly lit corners behind colorful tents. His heart racing both from exhilaration and trepidation at what lay ahead. Every jest made and every laugh shared brought him nearer to revealing hidden truths obscured behind joyful smiles, with moments ticking away until showtime approached rapidly upon them all like whispers carried by night winds through festive atmospheres. Bubbles wasn't just preparing for performance. He was preparing himself mentally for what awaited him just beyond those swirling lights illuminating paths toward discovery. Tonight would be crucial, a chance not only to entertain but also uncover vital evidence against those who dared exploit innocent lives, hidden beneath this vibrant circus facade. As the opening night festivities kicked into high gear, Agent Jax embraced his role as Bubbles with a blend of enthusiasm and caution. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, and he knew that every moment could offer an opportunity to gather intel or attract unwanted attention. He began to weave through the vibrant crowd, filled with families and children, all cheering for the brilliant acts unfolding before them. Jax spotted a group of clowns juggling near the main stage, their antics causing uproarious laughter. Eager to fit in, he joined them, pretending to juggle oversized colorful balls while adding his signature flourish of silliness. However, his eyes remained sharp. This was not merely about entertaining but also about observing. The clowns tossed humor back and forth like their props, and one robust clown, Charlie, playfully elbowed Jax. "Hey there, new guy. Let's see your best move." Feeling the playful challenge resonate within him, Jax launched into what he hoped would be a thrilling routine. He juggled not just balls but also a series of unexpected items. An inflatable banana and a rubber chicken that somehow made everyone roar with laughter. The crowd's amusement enveloped him temporarily, masking his surveillance mission. But as he spun and twirled, he caught sight of someone from the mafia group lurking nearby. A grim-looking man with a scar above his brow. Jax's heart raced, and in that moment of distraction, he fumbled the inflatable banana, causing it to bounce off a child's head behind him. Jax quickly turned to reassure the kid, bubbling over with exaggerated apologies. "Sorry about that. Just testing my flying bananas?" he exclaimed, gesturing dramatically. The child giggled, clearly needing no encouragement to join in on the laughter. Some nearby adults chuckled too, unwittingly raising Jax's spirits even amid tension. After regaining his composure, he scanned the area again and noticed the scarred man moving deeper into the tent, to a darker corner. Following instinctively after maintaining his clownish demeanor, Jax swerved away from an acrobat practicing her flips nearby, who excitedly shouted encouragement. "Do you think you can juggle while flipping like me? Only if you promise to catch my balls." Jax shot back playfully, hoping the jest would keep him grounded in character while he kept watch. He kept in motion through a series of interconnected tents, laughing with performers and drawing smiles from children. Every time he playfully tossed a balloon or performed a silly stunt, he used them as cover to gather more details on his surroundings. When he reached the food cart area, the scent of fresh popcorn and sizzling hot dogs wafted through the air. He seized the opportunity and rushed up to the vendor, acting as though he were particularly interested in a giant funnel cake. The epitome of circus joy for anyone visiting. As he leaned closer to inspect where the confection was being crafted, he heard muffled voices coming from behind the cart. "Load it up tonight, and no one will ever find out," one voice said sharply, laced with an air of authority that sent chills down Jax's spine. "Yeah, but what if we get caught?" Another voice replied nervously. Jax's mind raced. He had stumbled right into the heart of their operation. Without revealing himself, he swiftly reached up to grab an oversized pink balloon and twisted it into a dog shape for visual distraction before deliberately knocking over a nearby stack of plates in playful chaos. "Oops, sorry," he yelled cheerfully as he quickly moved toward the mess, hoping the ruckus drew attention away from their conversation so that he could overhear more without threatening his cover. The men looked frustrated as they glanced in his direction, but their conversation shifted back into hushed tones once they got rid of their momentary distraction. Jax couldn't catch every word they said. However, snippets of information fell on fertile ground in his mind. The mafia was planning something for tonight. After some goofy antics involving a potato sack race configuration using large feet stuffed into clumsy clown shoes for added laughter among guests around him, it was evident that time was slipping away to discover exactly what scheme was in motion. Finally finishing up here, Jax made his way toward another tent filled with performers rehearsing acrobatics. He entered with confidence now. Bubbles drew laughs again as he attempted silly somersaults while mimicking their movements. Embracing humor helped hide that familiar sense of danger looming underneath this joyful circus facade. Each laugh shared and eccentric act performed brought him an inch closer to revealing covert plans behind all pleasurable amity surrounding him. Every minute in his improvisational reality acted as both shield and sword against dark intentions waiting behind colorful veils as excitement mounted and night deepened its grip upon the circus grounds. Agent Jax felt both exhilaration and urgency push him ever forward, ready for whatever comical yet perilous surprises awaited within this captivating show of shadows and smiles. As the night progressed, the vibrant circus atmosphere buzzed with energy. But beneath the joy, Agent Jax, still in character as Bubbles, felt a growing sense of urgency. He had overheard whispers of a significant meeting among the mafia gang, and he was determined to locate their secret spot before it was too late. The clues he gathered earlier hinted that something big was about to go down, and he needed to act fast. Moving through the crowd, Jax kept his clownish demeanor intact while maintaining sharp focus. The tantalizing aroma of buttery popcorn wafted through the air, mixing with laughter and music, but his mind was elsewhere. He recalled seeing that group of rough-looking men earlier near the food carts, exchanging hushed words in a darker corner of the venue. If there was a central hub for their operations, it had to be near where they congregated. With every passing moment, Jax felt closer to uncovering the mafia's secret meeting spot. He decided to backtrack toward where he had initially seen them huddled together. As he approached the area, he noticed that the tent fabric hung low and darkened several sections at its edges, creating an ideal hiding place for clandestine meetings. His instincts told him this could be it, the nexus of their operation. Jax found a nearby stack of colorful props left unattended by another performer. Seizing the opportunity for cover, he crouched behind them and peered into the dimly lit corner of the tent. Just as he suspected, there they were, the scarred man and two other members of the gang. They stood over a table laden with stacks of cash and small packages wrapped tightly in plastic. "Tonight's haul is bigger than we thought," one thug boasted gruffly, his hands gesturing animatedly while revealing more than Jax had anticipated. "They'll never know what hit them. This circus is our perfect cover." Jax's heart raced. This was an invaluable opportunity to gather evidence against them. He fished out his small recording device from the pocket of his oversized clown costume and ensured it was ready for action. Just as he adjusted it, a sudden noise broke through the air, the sound of someone tripping over props nearby. "Hey, who's there?" One of the gang members barked sharply. Jax instinctively ducked lower behind his cover but realized he couldn't stay hidden forever. He would need to gather information quickly or risk losing this chance entirely. With a deep breath, he decided on a bold tactic, using humor as his shield. Popping up suddenly from behind the props with exaggerated surprise and cheerful energy, Jax exclaimed in his best clown voice, "Bubbles here! Did someone order a balloon animal? Because I'm all tied up." The three men turned their attention toward him, their expressions shifting from suspicion to confusion. For a brief moment, Jax saw hesitation flicker across their faces, a momentary lapse in their tough demeanor. "What are you doing back here?" asked the scarred man warily while crossing his arms. "I'm just spreading joy," Jax replied with an exaggerated smile while flamboyantly juggling a few balloons he'd snatched from nearby stands. "You know how tough it is keeping smiles on everyone's faces? But I can't help if I don't see all my friends." He twirled and performed an awkward dance move that elicited confused looks from the gang members. It wasn't graceful by any means, but it bought him precious seconds as they struggled to decide if they should laugh or be angry. With their attention diverted just long enough, Jax quickly leaned closer to try catching snippets of information again as they exchanged wary glances among themselves. "Don't you worry about those pesky cops?" one thug asked quietly but urgently. "Not at all," replied another confidently. "No one suspects us here. They're too busy enjoying themselves." Realizing that time was running out before they regained focus on him again, Jax made a split-second decision to retreat slowly while maintaining his clown-acida as he backed away from their line of sight toward another exit behind piles of colorful set pieces and props stacked chaotically around him. Adrenaline surged through him like fireworks igniting within his chest. Once clear enough from immediate view but still close enough to hear vital information if they spoke again, Agent Jax took stock of what he had discovered. This mafia gang operated under layers of deception, but tonight would be different. They were planning something significant during peak hours when crowds were at their largest. Perhaps even targeting innocent families amid all this festivity, with fresh determination igniting inside him like flames under a cauldron bubbling over with chaos awaiting discovery ahead. Jax formulated a plan in those fleeting seconds. He needed backup. The urgency became clearer than ever. Tonight wasn't just about collecting evidence. It was about thwarting whatever dangerous scheme they plotted against unsuspecting circus patrons as Bubbles maneuvered through numerous tents filled with whimsical acts and dazzling performances surrounding him. The clock ticking on his mission. He knew one thing for certain. If things got too out of hand tonight amidst joyful chaos, he'd have to take matters into his own hands and put an end to this criminal masquerade once and for all. As Jax continued to navigate the bustling circus, he felt a growing sense of tension in the air. He was close to gathering the evidence he needed to expose the mafia's operations. But the stakes were high, and any misstep could lead to disaster. He passed brightly painted tents filled with laughter and applause but remained hyper-aware of his surroundings, his instincts kicking into overdrive. Within moments of leaving the meeting spot where he had overheard critical information about the gang's plans, Jax caught sight of the scarred man he had seen earlier. The thug was standing less than 10 feet away, chatting animatedly with another member of the gang. Panic surged through Jax as he realized he could easily slip from hilarious clown to the subject of a gang's wrath if they recognized him. "Hey, you!" the scarred man suddenly called out. His voice cutting sharply through the laughter and music. Jax felt his heart drop. "You in the clown costume. What are you doing over here?" The world seemed to slow as Jax quickly assessed his options. He could make a run for it, but that would attract unwanted attention. Instead, he plastered a giant grin on his face and waved eagerly. "Just bringing smiles to everyone's faces," he replied in his most enthusiastic clown voice, balancing on one foot as he made silly gestures with his oversized shoes. The thug regarded him suspiciously. "You think this is funny? Only if you're not laughing." Jax bounced back, juggling colorful balloons while pretending like nothing was wrong. The other gang member looked puzzled but began to chuckle at the antics of this goofy clown. This provided him a momentary reprieve as their attention drifted. Yet even as Jax kept his act intact, the tension hung palpable like a thick fog around him. His heart raced with every chuckle and every scoff exchanged among the gang members, aware that one wrong move could blow his cover in an attempt to gather more information. He leaned closer to catch something useful from their conversation. Unfortunately, another nearby clown executed a slapstick routine with exaggerated falls which inadvertently drew the thug's attention back towards Bubbles. "What kind of clown are you?" the scarred man asked suspiciously, slowly advancing towards Jax with narrowed eyes. "You don't look like one of us. Just a humble clown trying to put joy in people's hearts." He turned on the charm, performing a quick, silly dance while expertly juggling more balloons. Thankfully, the other gang member laughed again, diffusing some tension in the air. "Get back to work before I throw you out," came a sharp shout behind them from another gang member who just appeared on the scene. The sudden appearance jolted Jax's adrenaline. He recognized this new arrival from earlier discussions as another key figure in the gang hierarchy, a more ruthless character known for being quick to anger. His instincts screamed at him to retreat before things turned volatile. However, in that very moment, a loud crash echoed from one of the nearby booths. An acrobat had fallen awkwardly after attempting a daring flip. Gasps filled the air as performers rushed to aid their colleague. This loud distraction turned attention away from Jax and toward the unfolding drama. Seizing the opportunity, Jax started retreating backwards into a maze of brightly colored tents while keeping his clownish bravado intact. Concealed behind a large stack of props, he watched closely as chaos unfolded in front of him. Gang members now stood distracted as they observed commotion. This noise provided ample cover for spontaneous movement. His mind raced as he formulated a plan. He had to warn authorities of what he had discovered without blowing his cover completely. A crucial breakthrough might just hinge on timing and bringing together the right elements for confrontation against the mafia. Gang.s crowds remained engaged with the spectacle occurring nearby. Jax recalled Mira, the contortionist he'd met earlier who seemed genuine if she could be trusted. She might help in gathering support and alerting those who could intervene effectively against them, with renewed confidence propelling him forward past startled guests relishing in ways they had yet to explore. Agent Jax took careful steps toward wherever Mira might now be rehearsing, bearing monthly stakes against how much innocent joy surrounded him while planning every strategic move with expanded laughter aimed straight at thwarting ulterior motives. Momentum surged through him. Tonight wasn't merely about being Bubbles. That it meant becoming someone who stood between naive happiness and darkness lurking beneath every over-the-top performance that struggled against its shadows with destined excitement awaiting discovery. As circus lights flickered and sounds morphed back into brighter music again while reflecting laughter far beyond their criminal schemes unveiled, Jax pushed deeper into unsure territory. Moved by promises made where innocence awaited illumination against looming threats that dared encroach upon spontaneous joy, the atmosphere in the circus had reached a fever pitch as the night wore on, filled with applause and cheers. Yet Agent Jax, still in character as Bubbles, knew that beneath this facade of joy lay imminent danger. He had positioned himself strategically behind the brightly painted tents, his heart racing in anticipation of the mafia gang's critical meeting. The time for action had come. With a quick glance around to ensure no one was watching too closely, Jax snuck through the canvas flaps of a large tent and found himself in what was undoubtedly the heart of their operation. The scarred man he had seen earlier stood at the center of the room with two other members of the gang, surrounded by tables covered with merchandise and stacks of cash. They were discussing their plans when Jax burst into the tent, fully embracing his persona as Bubbles. "Surprise!" he shouted exuberantly, juggling bright, colorful balls high above his head while bounding into view. "Bubbles is here to bring joy, and maybe a little chaos." The mafia members turned abruptly, their expressions shifting from surprise to suspicion. "What are you doing here, clown?" snarled one of them. "Just spreading cheer," Bubbles replied while spinning on one foot and juggling even faster, adding an occasional wink to charm them further. "I heard you all were planning something big tonight and thought, why not let Bubbles join in on the fun?" For a brief moment, confusion flickered across their faces. They were caught off guard by the vibrant energy of this unexpected intrusion. It was just enough for Jax to seize his opportunity. Sensing their uncertainty, He decided to raise the stakes. He launched into a colorful routine filled with slapstick humor, exaggerated tumbles and silly dances that had him falling over imaginary obstacles while still juggling despite losing balance. His antics caught not only their attention but also drew curious performers who peered in from outside, giggling at the bizarre spectacle unfolding within. "Let's hope he doesn't drop anything important," one member muttered sarcastically, crossing his arms, but secretly, another part of Jax knew this wouldn't last long. He had only moments before they would realize that something was amiss about Bubbles' vibrant appearance. One disguised agent among criminals could break down if they grasped who really stood before them. Just as he prepared for his next move, Jax took out a handful of colorful confetti from his pocket and tossed it into the air dramatically. "Every big show needs a spectacular finale, and I'm just getting started." With that declaration, he charged forward, pretending to slip on imaginary banana peels while chasing after holographic props scattered around him, as if chase scenes resembled over-the-top comedy acts. His deception bought him precious seconds before realization struck like lightning. Two gang members exchanged concerned looks, realizing they needed to regain control quickly amidst ludicrous performances. One shouted orders demanding that Bubbles be thrown out. That was when Jax saw his chance. Utilizing clever tactics picked up through training alongside other entertainers, he spun around suddenly while shaking some balloon animals dramatically before tossing them at their feet with comedic flair. They bounced harmlessly but added layers upon layers of chaos where fear might have resided otherwise. Just as anticipated chaos began swirling more threateningly towards potential disaster upon Bubbles' antics bursting fully alive with confused laughter, Jax addressed an unyielding hand signal toward an entrance outside where Mira, the contortionist resting nearby, remained hidden but observant on summary sides from performers gathering close by, with quick gestures between them finally aligning together amid incompatible forms threatened by swiftly foiled plans unfolding before waiting eyes. The plan solidified as agents flooded right into view slowly but surely from backstage, intent towards assisting against criminal activity masked amongst performances already occurring. Their timing was uncanny. Shouting in cheerful collaboration to rally support proved pivotal when Jax transformed back into agent mode amidst mirthful chaos surrounding him. All ready for showdown now. A juxtaposition between grim reality lying behind stolen smiles amid misconceptions everyone else believed throughout every hilarious stunt enacted throughout this entire scheme. "Everyone listen up!" shouted Mira, bravely stepping forth towards agents streaming inward at precise moments. They moved swiftly past startled men whose faces fell as realization flooded across motivated intentions just blooming forth everywhere. Misdirection surrounded all methods, silliness threw upon plans once laid bare, now faltering from disruption, closing tight upon those holding greed snugly within villainous corners, threatening quietude once again. As police sirens wailed outside against joyous music still playing amid exuberant guests unaware, transforming moments arrived. The stage set perfectly. Together they surged forward against darkness, swaying veils draping all innocent dreams entwined within shadows mist freely, when clowns would become heroes under laughter, bearing witness against terror, darkening brightened hopes spun forth each second until truth revealed concealed joy forevermore. The commotion inside the circus tent unfolded like a scene from a wild amusement park. Laughter mixed with urgency as Agent Jax, still embracing the clown persona of Bubbles, led the charge against the mafia scheme that threatened innocent lives, with his playful antics keeping the gang distracted. He felt a surge of adrenaline pulse through him, knowing that every second counted as the chaos continued. Mira, the contortionist, led the arriving agents, integral members of law enforcement who had been tipped off about the mafia's activities. They moved swiftly through the surrounding performers and spectators, their uniforms partially hidden beneath clever disguises designed to blend into the circus atmosphere. Each officer was poised for action, prepared to take control before any harm could befall anyone at the event. From behind piles of vibrant props and equipment stacked chaotically around the tent's edges, Jax caught sight of them as they entered. His heart raced at the thought of what would unfold next. He had brought them here just in time. Now or never, he whispered to himself under his breath, plotting his next move. "Ladies and gentlemen," boomed a commanding voice from outside. It was a lead officer stepping forth with authority. "This circus is now officially under investigation. We have reason to believe that illegal activities are occurring within these grounds. The gang members exchanged panicked glances at each other, their previous bravado quickly replacing by dread as they recognized they had been cornered. And no more were they invincible in their illicit dealings. It became increasingly clear that this facade was rapidly crumbling around them. "Get them!" the scarred man shouted suddenly, attempting to reclaim control amid chaos. But Jax wasn't about to let that happen as laughter spilled across the room. He seized his moment of opportunity for a final comedic act, a move intended to capture everyone's attention once more. "Bubbles has a surprise for you." He leaped into action and expertly whipped out additional balloon animals from his costume. A playful distraction that sent gang members stumbling back as they tried to dodge colorful creations bouncing towards them like oversized projectiles. Seeing their confusion grow, Jax set himself squarely against the trio facing him, the heart of this criminal operation, and began juggling those balloon animals into oblivion while mouthing exaggerated lyrics of classic circus tunes that it worked flawlessly. Law enforcement took swift advantage of this disorganized scene. Officers flew into action, rounding up gang members while also ensuring crowd safety remained paramount amidst flaring emotions rising among onlookers now captivated by ongoing spectacle. Caught up in absurdity surrounding their sudden loss of control, two gang members tripped over one another in an attempt to flee, one twisting an ankle immediately during escape causing chaos. "Arrest those two!" shouted an agent from behind the maze. Officers quickly pursued leads woven through bright lights illuminating each side, with officers tackling each bewildered thug effectively within tight grasp. Jax's mind shifted rapidly between juggling those whimsical balloons and allowing agents entry into the stage no longer theirs but truly crafted by his touches layered in authentic laughter leading towards significant ending justice served against mischief masked so decoratively previously within this vibrant display. Just moments afterward, more officers poured in from each side joining in partnership. Like synchronized acrobats assembled from above ready to bounce onto tragedy-turned-triumph, reflected everywhere crowd erupted cheering at defeated foes. An unyielding strength combined overcoming shadows lurking beneath performances entertaining yet colossal breaches sham, found unexpectedly realized unfolding incredibly beautifully. As dawn approached amidst flickering lights filling every corner still enveloped strongly with joyous effects lingering generously upon typically delightful moments turned thrilling conclusion rewinding down. "There's my brave partner for hope revealed amidst laughter breaking silence. Bubbles, you took care immeasurably these last unexpected turns paving welcome routes forward brightly discovered vividly yet again igniting this relief entwined amongst all shown norms." Jax couldn't help but smile behind painted cheeks wiped back clear. Instead absorbing those wells brimming faith renewed across all celebrating hearts encouraged tonight shimmering far beyond overwhelmed pathways created eternally brightened by kindness forged fiercely strong evermore, while finding themselves unified throughout adventures shared together wherein light continued winning brightly once again illuminated sin recently irrevocably torn down. As the chaos of the circus settled into jubilant laughter and applause, Agent Jax took a moment to step back and reflect on his incredible journey as the clown Bubbles. The surreal experience had immersed him in a world unlike any he had encountered before. A vibrant tapestry woven with colors, sounds, and sentiments that resonated deeply within him. The camaraderie shared among the performers was palpable. Despite their various talents and backgrounds, they all coalesced into a single, harmonious unit driven by one common goal. 2. Entertained at in moments of suspense and danger, Jax had witnessed remarkable acts of bravery from his fellow performers. Acrobats diving through the air to aid in dispersing the crowd, jugglers creating cheerful distractions when tensions rose, and even Mira, the contortionist, who provided pivotal assistance in alerting law enforcement at just the right moment. Jax marveled at this sense of teamwork that thrived amidst untold pressure. Each performance brought a renewed wave of confidence. For him as Bubbles and for every performer present. No one person outshone the other. Success was collective, an intricate dance that relied upon trust and support from one another. This realization struck a chord within Jax's heart as he understood that even within life-threatening situations, humor could become a powerful tool in fostering not only resilience but also unity. While disguising himself as a clown presented its fair share of challenges, it also unveiled truths about courage in unconventional forms. Jax found himself leaning into playfulness sooner than anticipated. He learned how to laugh in the face of danger and hug uncertainty tightly instead of fearing its Bubbles. He connected with individuals on levels that transcended deeper narratives of right or wrong. Each encounter spun joy wards while deflecting darker realities lurking in shadows. Watching the crowd's relieved faces surge, now filled with elation as good triumphed over evil, Jax realized he was partaking in something joyous yet remarkably profound here, faced with darker elements under soft lights draping freely throughout merry evenings. Eyes sparkled with delight floating high above while twinkling stars shimmered like shards of wishes thrown joyfully into midnight DOBs. Whether making balloon animals or honoring acrobatic brilliance dancing above unforgiving stages strewn across captivating runways, all flowed together within these whimsies, conjuring feelings deeply cherished. It reminded him of his own purpose beyond self-serving interests as a Secret Service agent focused merely on gathering intel hidden behind cloaked characters signaling acts fraught with creativity. Rather, it urged him towards a community bending burdens with shared laughter, a brave illusion reaching forward before darkness threatened solace within. Reflecting deeper still made him proud, not only as Bubbles but also as Jax, not just for being an agent uncovering hidden truths through deception stretched recklessly upwards toward joy inherent sewn intricately through performances seen each show enacted as dawn peeked through the remnants of night. Jax let out a breathy chuckle, letting warmth envelop him warmly against tranquil moons glowing, carefully drawn down detached frailties captured beneath hallowed grounds where kind-hearted intentions wedged untold beauty together. Despite hardships outlined brightly once cast upon unsuspecting patrons basking truly brighter delights magnified clearly illuminated revealing. Concerns lightened comfortably akin soothing hearts once fearful against shadows dulled earlier behind circus mirth escaping them. His undercover experience reaffirmed yet another invaluable lesson. True courage stems from facing fears alongside celebrating differences, highlighted during joyous endeavors shaping resilient bonds charmed through outlets inviting hope. Nothing veered him away from that revelation. Every triumphant cheer exuded fervently through unified crowds assured him it meant reconciliation resided ably yet again, no matter how conservative intentions categorized in masks cleverly formed just donned beneath whimsical clownish facades between magnificent smiles growing ever more precious. With this newfound appreciation of strength layered neatly comfortable across journeys traveled united amidst enthusiastic feel-good sentiments rekindled. Brighter days flowing forward ahead. Agent Jax' new once disguised faces drifted slowly from view, returning gently behind lesser lanterns, touching each dyed choice existing along highs echoed perched above weaved, seemed stitching laughter solid across fleeting whims, expecting to soar endlessly against dark uncertainties long minimized, fearlessly dressed towards dance brightened, deliberately hung high. As the morning sun rose, casting a warm glow over the circus grounds, Agent Jax, still in his colorful clown costume, stood amidst the remnants of the night's adventure. The laughter and cheers that had filled the air just hours before now echoed softly in his mind as he reflected on everything he experienced as Bubbles. The triumph over the mafia gang had not only brought safety back to the circus but also illuminated a deeper understanding of camaraderie, justice, and being true to oneself. Jax marveled at how he learned to embrace humor as a powerful tool, one that could bridge gaps between people and diffuse tense situations. The bond he formed with the performers during their shared struggle was invaluable. They had each other's backs in ways he hadn't anticipated. Mira approached him, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. "You really turned things around last night, Bubbles. I never imagined a clown could bring such chaos to our enemies." She laughed, her voice filled with warmth. "It was teamwork that made it happen," Jax replied, his smile genuine. "Without all of you stepping up and supporting one another, I don't think we would have succeeded." As other performers began to gather around them, sharing stories of bravery and laughter from the night before, Jax felt a sense of belonging swell within him. Each tale was infused with friendship and resilience that revealed shared struggles beneath their vibrant personas. They were more than just entertainers. They were a family united by their love for performance and their commitment to protecting one another. Amidst this celebration of triumph, Jax couldn't help but reflect on how far he had come since stepping into this role. Initially driven by duty as a Secret Service agent tasked with gathering intel on criminal activities, he discovered an unexpected side of himself while embracing Bubbles' persona, a side that thrived on joy, creativity, and deep connections with others. He found purpose beyond just his professional identity. It was about uplifting spirits and making a difference as laughter filled the air around him once more. Jax realized that his adventures were far from over. The lessons learned within this enchanting circus would pave the way for new endeavors ahead. There would always be challenges lurking beyond the next horizon. New missions requiring bravery disguised as laughter. But now he understood that facing them alone wasn't necessary. "Where do we go from here?" Mira asked playfully, her curiosity shining through. "I think I'd like to stick around for a while," Jax replied thoughtfully while glancing at the colorful tents surrounding them. "There's something magical about this place, about all of you, that I want to explore further." The group erupted in cheers at his words. They welcomed him wholeheartedly as part of their family, moving forward into endless possibilities yet unexplored together. With each passing moment spent among these remarkable individuals, juggling acts, mixing routines crafted alongside heartfelt connections, the anticipation for future adventures grew stronger within him like fireworks bursting energetically across soft summer skies. Together they could face anything thrown their way, whether it be crime lurking again or simply engaging audiences eager for joy, as they began preparing for another dazzling performance under bright lights illuminating artistry spun so uniquely among them all. Agent Jax knew wherever life took him next, bubbles would always remain etched firmly onto his heart, a reminder that embracing truth mattered most when standing alongside friends facing darkness boldly. In those moments leading forward, now brimming expectantly wild yet closely knit together, tightly woven bonds, strengthened, beautifully gained forevermore. The stage awaiting fresh tales spun brightly onward, promised endless joy where friendship flourished, deepened, illuminated journeys still left unfurling ahead. And so Agent Jax stepped into this new chapter, confidently embraced beneath vibrant hues wrapping warmly around him, where dreams danced lightly upon every thrilling pathway forged. A journey rife with possibilities awaited ahead. A world where justice triumphed hand in hand alongside cherished friendships blossoming fiercely, brighter than any spotlight shining down upon them.